chapters. I don't know what they're called when you're doing a video. I'm just calling it chapters. I guess different videos is what I should call it.
I think what's important is the fact that we need to expose a lot of the things that are hidden so we won't be left as a few with a whole bunch of dumb motherfuckers. See what I'm saying? That's my reason for trying to, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't want everybody around me to the point to where I have to be the only one doing every motherfucking thing. See what I'm saying? I don't want to take that position all the time because only those that know are going to be the ones responsible. I want to make sure all you motherfuckers know what's going on. As many as that can register the shit, because some are not meant to register. They in the land.
Some people are gonna turn this shit off immediately. They're gonna be like, "Man, what is this? This is some bullshit." Yes, it's not for you. It's only for a certain type of person.
Well, I think that's what we're gonna do. That's the motive. That's the reason why we have to do. It's really survival. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure our habitat is prepared. All this motherfucking lollygagging and bullshitting and sitting around and waiting what the TV tell us is gonna have us lost. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be lost with the rest of them.
Yeah, because you still got people right now, even though it's an Aquarius era, that are still trying to go back into the Bible, like go back into the Christianity of things, and that's when you know they're going backwards in evolution. You know what I'm saying? Like they said, just like the zodiac is going backwards, these motherfuckers are going backwards.
Peace and blessings, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Starfish. I have a special guest, and I must say interesting guest, by the name of Sun Maru. In translation, that means the son of Mary. So, Sun Maru, tell us about what piqued your interest along with your philosophy of esoteric and metaphysical studies. Enlighten us on that.
Well, I would like to really pay homage to my mother's mother, my grandmother. She was the one who piqued my interest or sparked my interest when I used to sit up listening to her talking about visitors that had already passed, that she had been getting visits frequently from her mother, which was passed, and her father that was passed. And this was like an ongoing thing all the time with my family, with my listening to my grandmother and her sisters talking about the different people that have been deceased. So I think that's probably what piqued my interest. It's always been a part of my life, hearing about ghosts and things like that.
Okay, interesting. And as far as, can you give us the difference or, differentiate esoteric and metaphysical?
As far as esoteric or esoteric, really both of them, the primary source of them are metaphysics, occult, which means the hidden, what's kept away from people, and what they're doing. As far as normal science, you have science and then you have metaphysical science. And basically, in a nutshell, metaphysics is the study of the unknown, what is not known.
Okay.
Of things that are not seen. And as far as my quest with the things that I'm interested in, because people that have raised me all my life, I knew they wouldn't lie to me. I know that they just was keeping it all the way real with me. So I'm noticing as I get older that everyone else is not interested in these things. So I was starting to notice even then that about myself, that I was always fascinated with things that are unseen, the things that most people would consider supernatural. So at this point, I started thinking about the Creator and things like that, always having a connection with God, not more of a religion, being interested in that, but having a relationship with the Most High. So I always felt like I was connected and I was being guided. And throughout life, now that I'm 45, I've came across a lot of things in life that I see that my grandmother was not lying to me at all. The unseen world really does exist, So.
Okay, can you give us let us know for for also the viewers that have what was your experience?
I can say one of my most paranormal experiences was maybe about 8 years ago. A friend of mine, she was coming to me. She had heard about the gift that I had inherited from my mother and my grandmother. And she came to me and she brought some pictures and she wanted me to confirm to her that she wasn't going insane. And in her pictures, she would have entities and different demonic forces in the pictures, and you could clearly see them. So when I was able to point to her that I saw them, me and her became close because other people could not see the things that she saw in the pictures. So one day, me being the type of person I am, where I stayed, the trash can, people would bring things to the dumpster if people didn't move out their apartment in time. And it was a mirror that I seen outside one time. It was designed beautiful, man, with marble. I can't like a marble surrounding of the mirror. Anyway, long story short, I brought it in the house. Roxanne was visiting me that day, and when me and her were standing there at the mirror, an electric purplish green dragon came out of the mirror. Prior to that, we were looking at some books that was concerning the spirit world, and I told her to be careful not to adore certain creatures in the book that we was looking at. But out of adoration, she was being fascinated, and I think that she conjured something out of that mirror. When it came out the mirror, the hairs on her arm went up, and she almost turned like Snow White, and I had to say a prayer. And, I repeated to myself 4 times, I seek refuge in the Most High from the rejected Shayateen. I seek refuge in the Most High from the most rejected Shayateen, which is translated as I seek refuge in God from the rejected Satan. So then the thing just disappeared, then I had to tend to Roxanne. But the reason why I always speak on that one is because me and her both experienced that together. That wasn't what somebody could just say is a hallucination or hallucinating, because it was actually me and her experiencing the same entity. We saw the same thing. And I could say that that's probably one of my most paranormal experiences, because I actually literally seen a dragon come out of a mirror. So by seeing that, from then on, a lot of shit ain't about shit to me, because there's nothing that a person could fascinate me with if they haven't experienced something like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Misha Renee Lovins, aka Love, aka Maru, Magdalene. There was a time where I was at a bad state, and the father of my child was housing me in Southwest Houston, and I almost died. I had a near-death experience, and Sin a cloaked figure, a red cloaked figure with a glowing face, and a band on his arm, like an infinity symbol, and it was beautiful, more beautiful than diamonds. And they were just moving in an infinity symbol, and I've realized where it came from. For me, almost dying, couldn't breathe. It was some prescription drugs, pain drugs, and so I was trying to get them away. And I made some food, and I was trying to get that away. And I started searching on Facebook everywhere I could, anybody. And all of a sudden, I was drawn to a Facebook profile. It had fire in the background and a face. And I was like, and this is interesting. So, I got an inbox. I was like, how is this person my friend when I never added them? I was like, it was weird. And I started texting him. I was like, and he got back in touch with me, and basically, he told me that he was an empath like me as well, or telepathic, whatever. He felt my energy through the phone, and he could feel that I was up for a long time, and that my heart was hurting and tight and everything. And he said, we can hang out, and I can tell you some things and try and heal you. And this is when I first met Sun Maru. And I get there, and everything was good. I looked around the house, and I saw pictures that were amazing. That was very mind blowing, and I was gravitating toward it. And I noticed that I bought food over. Just trying to help somebody, and I had my little Mary Magdalene Jesus moment, and I remember his fridge wouldn't shut, and I was like, "Dang, how am I gonna get this fridge to shut?" And I heard something like, "Just try blowing on it," and I blew across the edges, and each time it shut and stayed shut. I was like, "Oh, I'm spooked," and I looked up on the fridge. I was like, "Where does bread come from?" I was like, there wasn't bread here. And the bread just like magically appeared. No lie. Now somebody could have put the bread there after I got there, but I was like, huh. And so, I went in the room, and I was, having what I call like a spiritual seizure moment, but it was more like, I guess, a possession and something controlling my body. He, Aster, I call him Aster Ibn Samaru. I call him a lot of things, but it's like my best friend, and I love him so much. And he healed me, and took some demons that were in me out. I had a whole bunch, and it just, he listened to my stomach, and felt and heard, or something was in me, and he prayed over me, and I ended up falling out the bed, and everything was crazy. I was having some weird, speaking another language, and freaking out and jumping and shaking and all that, like a real seizure, and I just wasn't foaming at the mouth. And long story short, we looked in the book and found out some of my guardian angels and all that, and I always have a soft spot for Lucifer and all that, and I found out that could be in my, what we call, I guess, I don't know what you call it, but I called it my spiritual DNA. And no matter what happens, I just start thinking about how God created all creations, and I'm just thinking, what if things weren't told right in the Bible? You know what I'm saying? And I've prayed for answers and secrets. I want, the secrets and knowings of what's not in the Bible, what we're not able to know. And I was like, I would like to know. And, I started talking to Sun Maru about some of those things and concerns I had and questions I had that nobody could answer. He answered some of them, which was healing to me. And when I left, after 2 nights to spend the night there, I left and came back to my parents' house, which is this house right here. And I called him, had one of my moments again. And I saw that that red cloak figure again, along with a blue cloak and a green cloak figure. And also looked up to the ceiling. He got quiet on the phone. I was like, help me. And I saw a black or grayish hole or portal coming from the ceiling, and then a green orb came out. I'm able to see orbs and everything. And a green one came out and went real fast along the wall into one of my chakras to try and wake me up and get me out of the trance that I was in. And I felt it was him saving me and trying to help me. And later on, I'll end it with this. Later on, I did some research months later, and I found out that the cloaked figures I sent were, the red one was Gabriel, Archangel Gabriel, blue one was Michael, and the green one was Raphael. So I had my archangels plus him by my side. So that's all I have to say. And thank you, Sun Maru, for coming to my Savior and saving me and helping me. I love you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in on part 2 of Discovering Our Hidden Gifts, and with our special guest again, Sun Maru. Okay, I got it right, Sun Maru. All right, and the philosophy of Sun Maru.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Starfish. You asked a lot of good questions the other day, and I'm glad that we're continuing because there's so much to explain as far as what's going on with us in the scheme of things and what's taking place in the world that we're living in. Adding on to that, we're adding on to the fact that I've had a lot of paranormal experiences. A lot of people understand the oldest philosophy that I've heard in a while that comes actually from Egypt, but they give a lot of credit to Socrates is know thyself. And by discovering all the paranormal elements of this planet and the things that I go through in life, I discovered what I truly am. There's many names for the same thing. They may call it wizard, sorceress, magi, witch doctor, shaman. I really try to look at myself as a healer. But a lot of things are going on that through social engineering of the secular world that we're not really aware of. And those who are chosen, those who know things, those who have found themselves, who know themselves, know their surroundings are an illusion. So what we need to do is we need to find something to pay attention to help us escape this matrix that we're trapped in. So is there any questions specifically that you would like to ask me?
Yes, considering what's going on in this world with the pandemic and, the vaccines and everything, what is your take on that?
That's a good question. As you can see, I'm not wearing a mask. I think a lot of it, and don't quote me on this, a lot of people have their own belief system. I really feel like it's just still a part of the illusion, because if it's really that serious, a lot of us would really just die. So wearing a mask really takes off your oxygen. And when you have your oxygen taken away from you like that, you're more easy to control. So I feel it's a control method, and the real hidden agenda behind it is population control. I really think that they're trying to reduce the population for a certain time so they can have everybody on a prison planet. And as time goes by, as you are aware of yourself, you'll be able to understand that those are the things that are going on. Indoctrination, television, subliminal messages, all the symbolism that's going on in television, COVID. And you notice it started with Kobe Bryant falling out the sky, and then all of a sudden COVID comes, and then the thing with George Floyd. All of it is staged and engineered, social engineering, to capture your mind. And that's the motive, to capture your mind. Your enemy's motive is to capture your mind. But by being aware of yourself, one of the things I did to escape is I watched animals. Because, they live according to their habitats. They watch you without looking directly at you, but they're always aware of your hidden motive. And that's what you have to think about. You have to be skeptical, you have to be aware, you have to pay attention. because deception is even in nature.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, and kind of like what's going on today in this world kind of resonates on what Tupac said once before in one of his songs, that we're going to see a lot of things happening in this world that we're not going to be able to believe that's going on. And yeah, I see that, I believe that, and I see that. What do you think?
Well,
you know what song I'm talking about?
Yeah, Smile.
Smile, right, exactly. It's going to be hard to smile about.
And he really spoke that into existence. He saw the future, the past, present, and the future. He's one of my favorite artists, and rest in power to Tupac Shakur and all the recent fallen soldiers, DMX, Malcolm X, Harriet Tubman. All of these people had a message, and unfortunately, a lot of times when you put yourself in a position of not knowing where you're at or what you're doing, you become a victim of it. And the worst type of debauchery, the worst type of foulness is when you don't even realize you're foul. And a lot of us have been impregnated and saturated with a whole bunch of seduction that's taking place, because the most beautiful things are more dangerous for you than anything.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. This is your girl Starfish with our special guest, Sun Maru. Okay, and we're here to talk to him and for him to give us input on some of his hidden powers. Okay,
You've known me a long time.
I've been knowing you for a very long time. So I know some things that has happened. For instance, we're going to get into this. When you fell off a 60 feet, it was 60 feet, a bridge, okay? And you just broke a few bones. That was it.
Yeah, I just broke my ankle and my wrist right here. For some reason, I happened to land on my feet. I don't want to incriminate nobody, but basically, it was just a whole bunch of people behind me that I wouldn't want to be behind me, like the police. And me and another person were in the car, and we're on the freeway. And, I just had to make a choice. I was like, I'd already been in prison for 4 years, served 4 years flat. And I told myself, I don't ever want to be in that position again. So I went ahead and I guess took the jump, to be honest, for freedom. And all praise to the Most High, I'm still here. And, it was on the news. It'd been discovered and everything. And a lot of people didn't think that I was ever going to walk again. But within, let's say, how long that was, about three months at the most, I took the cast off because I didn't like the way it was itching. And they was telling me that I wasn't going to be able to take a bath. So I just took the cast off and told myself, you know what, man, I'm going to start walking. So, long story short, that's how I really discovered myself, and it's been a lot of situations to where death comes for me and I seem to escape it by the grace of the Most High. So that's when I knew that I was taking a walk and I started discovering more things about myself. People have pulled guns on me and shot themselves. And these experiences don't do nothing but strengthen my faith in a higher power, the primary source, the Most High, the creator of all things, the creator of the sun, the moon, the galaxies, everything that exists. I thank him or her, because the woman is the hidden God, and I consider myself a child of Mother Nature and Father Time, to become one with nature, earth, wind, fire, and water, and understand, because the Most High is very important. And as long as you connected with that, the spiritual realm, and know the difference between dark forces and the forces of good and the forces of evil, because yin and yang exist in everything, evil and good, however you want a duality. You have to understand, and you have to have a gift of discernment. So as you develop in knowing who you are, your powers of enlightenment become more advanced. And we're in the year 2021 now, and just recently, maybe 3 months ago, I was shot in front of a store. And they said that I died for about 40 minutes. And miraculously, I'm here. So.
And I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
And why did you die? Did you lose blood? What happened?
From loss of blood. I was shot in the groin and received a few fragments as well. I think the bullet traveled and everything, and my heart stopped, and they had to cut my chest open. And they said I died for 40 minutes. The doctors came in and they said they couldn't believe that I made it because I had died in the ambulance. So, in discovering myself, I definitely know that it's not my time to go, and I'm here for a purpose. I received that confirmation, and this is just many of the circumstances that had made me confirm that I'm on the road to discovering the hidden God, my hidden gifts, the things about me that I need to use to help other people. The select, the few.
That's awesome.
So that's my testimony. They're all true stories. They can all be confirmed. And the reason why I'm doing this is because a few people have told me that I'm here for a better purpose. And when we get on our next parts, I'll go more into how I discovered the abilities and all of the different things that have went on in my life that make me feel like, I do have a purpose to deliver messages and let people know that we are definitely trapped in a mental cage, and to beware of mental enslavement. As the Bible says, evil sits in high places. I believe that's Ephesians 9. I didn't quote it verbatim, but definitely the wicked sits in high places. And the thing is, they work from the bottom to the top and the top to the bottom. So beware of those things that seem beautiful, because behind that there's always a trap, and you have to understand that the gift of discernment and all of these things that we need to develop will help us in this journey that we have of discovering the hidden power in ourselves. Sincerely, until next time, Sun Maru. Thank you, Starfish.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is your girl, Starfish. I'm here with the one and only Sun Maru.
Peace.
Okay, and today's topic is, well, I want to say first, welcome. Mm-hmm. Welcome here, Sun Maru. And today's topic is the hidden agenda.
Yes, okay. Definitely. That's something that I feel like a lot of people don't touch on enough, because right now what we're going through is a lot of manipulation, as I said in the last films. The hidden agenda is basically the deception that's been placed among us because we keep eating at the table of our enemies. I can give you an example of deception and let you know that it's a natural thing. If you notice a snapping turtle, an alligator snapping turtle will go to the bottom of a river or a pond because it's so big it can't chase fish and keep up and get them. So what it has to do is it goes close to the ground and it opens its mouth and it wiggles its tongue like a worm. So being the fact that it does that, the fish are manipulated. They believe that snapping turtle is not a snapping turtle, but yet it's actually a worm wiggling. That snapping turtle never had to read a book on a fish. It didn't have to study the fish or none of that. It knew that if it did that, that's what it had to do to get the fish to be trapped. And I can give the same example with a Venus flytrap. It poses as a flower, and the fly thinks that it's getting the nectar, and then what happens? The Venus flytrap closes in on the fly. So deception, there you go as an example, is always in nature. So I think one of the most important things in life, because it seems that animals do it, and I always like to mention animals, is know yourself and know your enemy. Stop taking the poison Kool-Aid. These people have a track record, and I don't have to be specific because we know who they are. You know who your enemies are. Know them by their fruits. You know, animals all the time pay attention to us. And if we see them, they definitely see us. You know, a possum doesn't have to read a book on a human to know how to fake dead when it's in the presence of danger. So these things that we are learning in life are natural. And naturally, our defense mechanisms should be more heightened because we are in a hidden agenda. A propaganda to manipulate and make us robots, to prepare us to be cyborgs.
That's interesting. Okay. So, as you mentioned that about animals, can you give us another example?
Well, I can give you an example of the fact that how this system is destroying us. Using animals again, because you know I'm the one I like to always use them because I know they never lie, they tell the truth. If you take a dog and put it in the same wilderness as a wolf, because this dog is domesticated, it will never survive because it's so used to getting fed every day. It's codependent off the system. But nowhere in nature do you find it that a normal domesticated dog can live amongst wolves. But yet wolves can live in a domesticated environment. So you got to look at us as domesticated dogs. If you take away the lights and the water, what are you going to do? Because you codependent off of the system. If they cut them lights and water, you're going to panic because you're so used to running water. You're so used to having lights. You don't know what to do because you've been domesticated. So in this, you have to understand that there's going to come to a point to where these things are taken away from us. And what are you going to do? How are you going to eat if you can't go to the grocery store? And then let's talk about us biblical people that believe in the Bible, the mark of the beast. You won't be able to buy, sell, or trade anything unless you are codependent off a domesticated system. So slowly but surely we are being probed into being more docile and being more robotic and prepared for artificial intelligence. So deception is in nature. You better learn your enemy as well as knowing yourself, because if you don't realize who you are, you'll never know who you're facing.
That's interesting. And can you so when you say if you don't know who you are, you don't know who you're facing, what do you mean?
Well, see, from the beginning, I noticed with the colonizers or the oppressor, what they do is they strip you of your culture. If you take a person's belief systems and their spirituality, and then you download them with your information, you automatically have people under what you call control, mentally, and then eventually physically, and then last spiritually, because when you break somebody's spirit, you become totally a slave. So a lot of the things that they done is, rather we came over here from boat, because a lot of us were already over here in the Americas. They came and they whitewashed everything, domesticated you to the point to where you believe that their God is your God. The way that they live, the medicines that they take, the artificial things that they live is what you have to do. And that's not how you were in your natural position in life, because you are the original. And you know who I'm talking to when I say you are the original. That's the truth. That's not being racist. You are the original woman, man, and child. Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. That's who you are. So when you're taken out of that, you're a fish out of water. So try your best not to be domesticated. And stop leaning on your own misunderstanding and knowing that you are at the table of your enemies. And you're getting fed their food. And their food is not meant for you. You need to regurgitate all that bullshit and find yourself. Know yourself. And know your enemy. Sincerely, Sun Maru.